If you were wondering, Colin and Rick agreed for one more year of service, so they were affirmed by the membership. Sylvia is fulfilling her second year. 2023, we had Jared Lucas that was on our board of directors as the chair, and he, after serving 4 years, has decided to step down because he has a larger family now. So at this time, we're going to have a special appreciation, and I think Rick's going to lead that.
So if we could have Jared join or come up, that'd be great. You can stay here if you'd like. So Jared has been our chairman of the board and a member of the CLC board for, is it 4 years? For the last 4 years. So we'd just like to take a moment to give him appreciation, to say thanks. So Martin Luther King said about leadership that small acts of courage are where true leadership begin. And we'd really like to thank Jared for your leadership and for these small acts of courage. Now, I remember when I first met Jared when he was a student at Cal, and when he was asked to join the CLC board, I don't think it was because Jared said, I'm a great leader. And I don't think Jared probably said, oh, I have all the answers. And more importantly, I don't think Jared said, you know what? I'm the anointed one. But I think Jared did say, when he decided to say yes to become a member of the board, this is a place where God has asked me to serve and where I can honor him. And so, Jared, thank you for those small acts of courage to say yes. Yes to serve on the board, and yes to being the board chair. And not only did he say yes to being the board chair, but he served very well. And one of the three things that he did to serve well was, one is he served boldly to accelerate decisions that we had to make in order to purchase this church for CLC. So thank you. The second thing that he did was, in the past year, we've had financial challenges, and he served deftly to help us navigate through the financial. And yes, thank you, Sylvia. And the third thing that he did was, as we go through these transitions, he has helped us to align our leadership. And so these are small acts of courage to do, but they've served you well in terms of being a true leader. So I want to say thank you. And what I also want to say is, I hope that these small acts of courage to lead will inspire the younger generation here at CLC to also consider serving in leadership as well. So, Jared, I'd like to say thank you for your years of faithful service, and as kind of a token of appreciation. Thank you. And I'd like to ask the congregation to acknowledge you and appreciate you with a round of applause. So thank you. Oh, and he did this all while having twins delivered as well. So well done. Okay, so for our next portion of the meeting, I'd like to take us through kind of some of the highlights of the last year. Now, during service, you actually got an email sent to you, which actually has the CLC annual report. So at the first part of the annual report, we have a message from each of the pastors. So I'm not going to go through each of those pieces, but I would encourage you to read them. But just as a quick highlight, Caitlin has talked about worship, and her view of worship is that everything that we do in life, in terms of our faith as Christians, is an act of worship. So I'd ask you to encourage you to read that. The other thing that actually ties into Eric's message was about obeying. Pastor Ben talks about obedience. And one of the things that I found insightful about obedience is sometimes obedience is when you follow, when you don't quite understand everything that God might be asking you to do. The third area is Pastor Calvin talks about relationships and about how he really wishes that CLC would be a place where when Jesus Christ looks at his disciples, he actually calls them friends. Yes, they're servants, but he actually calls them friends. And it's the notion that we hope that this is a place where CLC can be that develops relationships, not only intimately with Christ, but with each other, that we can serve Christ to be called friends of Christ, but also friends with each other. And then the fourth thing is that Pastor Eric talks about what the Great Commission is in our serving, which he talked about today in terms of how are we going to disciple others and disciple nations to serve God. So I would ask that you would please read the pastor statements, and I think hopefully it'll be insightful for you. Okay, so the year in review. Let's talk about some of the things in year in review. The first is there are some speeds, and reads in terms of worship ministry. One of the exciting things is that we do have some new worship team members, and we've had Will, Noah, Justin, Phoebe, and Daniel Kim, who joined the worship team. So that's always very exciting. We've had a couple of worship workshops and some jam sessions as well. And we also introduced a new junior worship team, which is Janelle, Noah, and Emma. So, Will, you could actually kind of start your own little band at your house. So we love that. And then we've also had some community life team members where you've appreciated the wit and organization of Arjun, Linda, and Yvonne. And then we also have had a great moment where we had some baptisms, and that was over Easter, where we had 11 people that were baptized from City Team. Going on to the social justice and local support, one of the things that we did was we gave to the community by offering and donating 100 boxes of diapers. And then this was one that was interesting where, they donated 600 colored eggs to the Afghan Easter egg project. So I guess they had to cover all the eggs. You know what? That would be a ministry opportunity to die for. Think about that. Colored eggs, dying. All right. Also, the other thing we did was we partnered with 12 other churches, and we to create packs and distributed boxes of loaves to some of the local communities. On the mission outreach, we did have 3 people that went actually to Asia. So it was Alan, Ben, and Gordon. And there they were excited about how they're actually creating other ministries in Asia to bring the gospel to Asia or other parts of Asia. The other things are that we've supported 4 missionaries. And last week we had Patricia and Lissandro come and they speak. So if you had a chance, those are two of the missionaries that we've come to support. All right. And then in the community in the fellowship area, last year we had our first in-house CLC retreat, which we hope that you enjoyed. It kind of just brought more intimacy to, this is just not just a building, but it's a place where the people are the ones that make it alive. And we had 8 new members. So this is one of my favorite quotes from Pastor Wayne is he used to always say, you can never have new old friends. But this is kind of a little bit of an anomaly because our new 8 members have actually been people who, a lot of them have been worshiping here for decades. And so some of those have been John Koyama, Art and Linda, Barbara McKee, one of our newest members, so thank you, Barbara, Han, and Arjun and Jen, and Pastor Ben. So some of them have been worshiping here for decades. And then you can see that we all love to eat and celebrate fatherhood and motherhood together, so we've had some key events on that. And then one of the things that has really brought this church forward and helped us to thrive is prayer. So we've had 12 Saturday prayer meetings that Pam Tong has organized, and we always have prayer, an opportunity to pray and to seek prayer in our service every year, and so that's why she always has a team in the back to offer that up. And prayer is going to be something that's going to be very important for the next year coming forward as well. We've also done some things to reach out to the neighborhood where we're having some prayer walks as well. So, and then In terms of our children's ministry, one of the things that we've done is we've locked them up, but then we've also allowed them to escape. So we've had those two events to do that. And in our youth ministry, excuse me, that was part of the youth ministry. And then in terms of the children's ministries, we've welcomed, dedicated two children as well with Chase and Will Lou. And then we've welcomed a new family. The Castor family with Zach and Bella and Claire. So finally, in our college ministry, we did graduate 4 new college graduates. We always are welcoming to our college ministry, because I remember when I first started coming to CLC, that was really part of the vibrancy of why I always enjoyed coming to CLC. So and then we also had 3 study halls on campus that we sponsored in our office. So I think that's it in terms of, pardon me? Oh, thank you. And that's kind of it in terms of the year in review. I do have one transactional thing that I have to ask for right now, is that every year whenever we have the annual meeting, we have to ask for approval from last year's minutes. So if anyone has, as you've read through, and the minutes are included in the email that went out, can I have an actual motion and a second to accept the minutes?
I motion to approve the minutes.
And I'm sorry, who did that? Oh, that came from Yvonne. Yvonne G. Bang has motioned to accept the minutes. Do I have a second? And that's from Linda Luce. So let the record show that Yvonne had motioned and that Linda had approved and seconded. So all those who in favor say aye. Aye. And any nays? I knew we didn't have any naysayers, so thank you.